a porch that was added onto the side of the building, then filled in as a kitchen. So it's in pretty bad condition and also not deemed to be of real historical significance. So by taking that off, that really opens up opportunity to get into the building on that side. There's still the old existing brick would be exposed, the windows would be restored even on that side of the house, which you would see from inside that cafe space. I mentioned the front door here, the primary entrance, and this concourse which connects the meeting rooms and public space. A lot of glass along here, a lot of opportunity for display cases and some of the displays that you spoke of that are typical traditional destination libraries. Your book drop and all of that would be in this area, and there's the potential for a glass enclosed RFID or barcode sorter. So kids could put their books in the slot and watch their book go up a conveyor belt and the arms of the machinery and so forth sort the books and tag them and all of that stuff, and you can probably put bells and whistles and who knows what all to make that a fun experience. But there is the potential for that. This area would be the administrative wing. There's space for a computer lab, as Dick mentioned, for classes, not only for public access during the day to use those computers, but in the evenings or whatever scheduled times they could have technology classes. Probably be at least 50 computers for public access, maybe more than that even, available in this library. This is where I guess you'd call that the closest thing would be the traditional circulation desk. It may have a slightly different function in a modern library where it's not quite as much circulation and checkout, because there would be a lot of self-check carrels in that area also, but more of a service desk where folks can assist people, help them with their research or whatever it is they're looking for. And then the bulk of the open area, of course, the stacks and the general collection. Children's library is shown over here with its own entry and own identity. And as an example, right now we're still working with the notion of whether the children's library should be on this end or should it be on this end, pros and cons, and how the function of the library works. So there's still those kinds of things that are being worked on. On this end, we're showing a designated area for teens or young adults. That would have its own identity and decor, separate computers, soft seating or lounge seating suitable for teens and their own collection in that area. Back over here, there's some of the small study rooms or meeting rooms that Dick mentioned, and then the meeting rooms, the primary public meeting rooms. We're showing two here with a dividing wall between. Those can be opened up into one larger meeting room, and again, they would have access to toilets and to cafe in this area. In fact, you could close down the library right at this point and have this meeting and conference center open at hours other than the library hours. So outdoor spaces, there's opportunity for a children's patio over here and opportunity for a patio on the creek side. In fact, right along in here would probably be the more adult-oriented reading area, fireplace, soft lounge type furniture. The current periodicals and newspapers would probably all be in that area. So I think with that kind of a scheme, those are some of the features that Dick spoke to and the way that they could be addressed into a diagram very similar to this, if not ultimately this plan. Next slide. This is a view looking, it's a sketch laid over a photograph, looking down the existing drive towards the house. Some of the new trees and some existing trees, and you see that the new library is intended to be there, but kind of behind a veil of trees and landscaping. So the focus is on the house. But as you approach and you come around the circle drive, you would then begin to pick up the signals of where you park and where the front door is to the building. The building is intended to peek out over on this side of the house also a little bit. And if the library is closed, there would be signage to direct folks to a parking lot over here. If you wanted to operate it that way, there's a possibility for that. And even a covered drop-off on that end, so that meetings could occur and you could park on that end of the site and not have to go all the way through the library to get to that part. So a lot of opportunity, a lot of flexibility trying to be worked into the scheme. Okay, next. This is kind of a little bird's eye sketch of what that might be like in terms of the curved concourse and connecting walkway, the main entry over here. Of course, you see the house in this area, the circle drive, connection to parking, walkway to get into the front door. All of that would be something along these lines. Materials and final imagery and so forth have not been selected or determined yet. We'll be working with landmarks and with the building committee to determine those in coming months. And the bulk of the building, which you see, is a fairly good sized building, and the trick is to keep that bulk background. It'll be a one-story building, of course. Keep the pitch on the roofs low slope, but like in this building, you don't want a large space with really low ceilings. It's just very uncomfortable for folks. So you've got to have some height in those kinds of spaces. Trying to balance that with the scale of the existing house, keeping the new library as quiet and respectful, but yet have its own identity. That's the design challenge for us. And with that, I'll stop talking. And Dick, unless you have something else you want to add, we'll turn it over to questions and answers. Then we have a question already. Yeah.
Was that a walkway or a driveway to 90th Street?
It's a driveway. Yes, there would be a driveway to the north side of the new parking lot, which would connect right out here to 90th Street.
Hunt Midwest gave us the easement to cross, right? Yeah, the closest to the Flintlock Road to go across there. So we're grateful for that.
What's the road going to the back that looks like it's going over a bridge?
I'm sorry? Oh, yes, let me explain that. There is currently a gravel drive that runs down here and crosses the creek and goes back to the farm buildings. That would probably stay as gravel, and that would be the existing low water bridge. The new asphalt and paving would come to this little parking lot I mentioned a while ago and would probably stop right there. So that's the existing low water bridge.
How were those buildings back there going to function?
They, you have an answer for that?
Yeah,
We're still working on that.
yeah, we're trying to determine what it would cost to maintain the barn, and we're looking at the expense. I mean, it could cost as much as $1 million because the rafters, if you go in it, they're coming down. The whole thing leans, so it's not stable. And so that's a project that we're working on right now to determine the fee. Is it, can we afford to fix it, or is it just better to take it down?
So is it covered under the historic?
Yes, it is. We're working with landmarks to, here's Brad. I'll let him say, he's the expert here.
Yes, they would actually have to go through a review. Generally, what they'll have to provide to us, they'll have to do all the analysis, look at the alternatives, is it economically viable, get estimates on what it costs to repair. So they'll actually have to, show that they've done a lot of investigation and gone through